If we understand this, we wouldn't be hesitating why Twitter is actually banning all the Palestinians' accounts. Their managing structure is actually based on Zionism, and they support Zionism. Facebook as well, they have benefits with Israel, because Facebook have a regional office based in Israel where many employees are working. Therefore, Tel Aviv, they have a huge impact. They can reach out to the core of Facebook. The same thing that happened for TikTok. Prime Minister, the ex-Prime Minister meeting with the TikTok manager, it says the same thing, that all these videos is misinformation. It cannot be trusted because they're not showing the truth. So about the lynch mob, Israel education system, they feed their children the hate of Palestinians, the hate of Arabs, the hate of everything that is not Jewish. You will not be surprised if they grow up to be extremists, and if they grow up like having to murder any Arab.
Today we're going to talk about digital rights of Palestinian, and we have Leen Salleh in the house. How are you, Leen?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me, Amin.
MashaAllah. And for those who haven't known yet, Leen, your origin have something to do with Palestine, right?
I'm Palestinian. I'm
Yeah.
Palestinian Syrian refugee.
So you were born in Palestine.
I was born in Syria.
Syria.
Tapi, yeah. My family originally from Palestine.
MashaAllah.
Yes.
So you still have your family in Palestine?
Actually, no one is in Palestine. All of them have been forced to leave Palestine in 1948.
But still your heart is there.
Of course.
Why?
Yes. It's my origin, it's my identity. We have been raised in Syria. Tapi, we love Palestine at the same time. My mom is Syrian and my dad is Palestinian. And we have this culture in the family where we just have to support the cause, not only because we are Palestinian, but also because Palestine, it's a cause for all free people and people who care for humanity. So, of course, as a Palestinian, I don't support my own cause. It's our identity itself.
MashaAllah.
Yes.
And I believe those who are watching us, they are asking, why all of a sudden there's a word tapi? Well, you study in UIA, IIUM, International Islamic University Malaysia, Kuantan. In what course?
Physiotherapy.
Physiotherapy. So you've been in Malaysia for 10 years?
10
tahun. So boleh cakap bahasa Melayu?
Sikit. Tak
Sikit.
fasih tapi boleh cakap sikit.
Apa makanan kegemaran?
You mean this morning?
What is your favorite food?
Okay. Oh my God. My favorite Malay food is nasi lemak.
Really?
Yes.
So a Palestinian love to eat nasi lemak.
So much. I crave nasi lemak.
So after this, we must have nasi lemak for our lunch.
Sambal
insyaAllah.
belacang.
Sambal belacang. You have to eat budu. Do you eat budu before?
No.
You have to try budu.
What is it?
It's Kelantanese signature food.
Okay. I just know nasi kerapu
Nasi kerabu.
from that area. Yes.
That one you must try as well.
Okay. Next
Inshallah.
time.
All right. So let's straight away to our topic, because I remember way back in May 2021 when Palestinians lost their own digital rights. Their Facebook, their posting in Facebook, Instagram, even in Twitter were deleted. And even some accounts were even totally closed.
Yes.
I believe there's a reason behind that. Care to explain?
Yes. So actually, before talking about what happened last year in 2021 and all the censorship on the social media, I would like to have, let's have the basics first.
Sure.
And what does the occupation do? Way much before having the internet and something called social media, Israel have been following a policy which remains the same. It's only changed the way they approach Palestinians. This policy is about oppressing Palestinians. So since the occupation has begun, they've been following Palestinians on Palestine land, Palestinian refugees outside Palestine, and also Palestinians who were producing any written materials back days. So many journalists, many artists have been assassinated, such as Ghassan Kanafani and Najil Ali, and recently Shirin Abu Aqla as well in Palestine. So this attacks is not new to Palestinians. We are used to it, and sometimes we feel like having a normal life is such something we wish for. They don't make it as simple as every human being should have it. So what happened last year, since Ramadan, Israel always attempt to close the gates that would lead Palestinians to go inside Masjid al-Aqsa. So therefore, many protests would be happening, many fights, many resisting from the Palestinian youth. At that time, it was very difficult and very hard because things were happening at the same time in Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood, and also demolishing houses in Salwan, and then the attacking of worshippers in Ramadan nights while praying Taraweeh, and also the war in Gaza. So meanwhile, Palestinians were active on social media day by day, showing all the violations, all the war crimes of the occupation.
Real situations, what's going on.
Therefore, they have been trying to silence the social media. So it's a strategy they actually follow. And because Palestinians use the social media in a very clever way nowadays, you can speak in different languages. You can just show things without filter. No need to have a narrative, no need to have any editorial or anything. People can see the reality as it is. So this one had make a pressure on the Israeli authorities because they are afraid. They have been working for decades on their own narrative.
So now their lies have been exposed.
Yes, by sudden, some Palestinian young people would come and just expose them. So it was really frightening, and especially that Palestinian win. They won the media battle that time. So therefore, Israel has been trying to oppress them through the social media as well, not only on the land. So we've been killed twice, you can say, physically and also online. Yeah.
I read the Time Israel where they mentioned that Benny Gantz, the Israel defense minister, he held a meeting with all this social media company in order to increase the restrictions for any news, any posting regarding Palestinians. What's your comment about that?
First of all, yes, that's so true.
Because it is reported by their own media, right?
Their own media, yeah, and they brag about it like they show off and they're very happy about what they're achieving. The thing they follow is actually trying to say that what Palestinians are doing is hate crime, and they're encouraging for having war crime and terror acts on Palestine land and for against Israeli citizens or settlers. So therefore, they claim that they have the right to go and meet with the social media directors and managers and ask them to suppress this social media. So,
do you think they follow the instruction by this Israel minister?
They actually do, and the reason is why, if we understand what's behind the scenes.
I see.
We have TikTok, we have YouTube, we have Twitter, we have Facebook. Each one of these companies, actually, they have their own agreements with the Israeli government. Let's take, for example, Twitter. If we understand what's happening in Twitter since 2016, when they tried to have the safety, they were launching safety center. So one of their main advisory and board of trustees is actually Zionism groups in US, in UK, and Australia. If we understand this, we wouldn't be hesitating why Twitter is actually banning all the Palestinians' accounts, because their managing structure is actually based on Zionism. And they support Zionism since they have their board of trustees. Facebook as well, they have benefits with Israel, because Facebook have a regional office based in Israel where many employees are working. Therefore, Tel Aviv, they have a huge impact. They can reach out to the core of Facebook in order to do whatever they want in the social media. The same thing that happened for TikTok. I believe the news that last year was about the Prime Minister, the ex-Prime Minister, meeting with the TikTok manager. And it says the same thing, that all these videos is misinformation, and it cannot be trusted because they're not showing the truth.
I see.
Yes.
I from my observation, I can see that the Israelis, they are trying to restrict the Palestinians on the basis of spreading hate speech. All right, now the issue is there's a campaign which is called Lynch Mob that was launched through WhatsApp and Telegram, where at the end of the day, leading towards death. For those who don't know what it's all about regarding Lynch Mob, what is it?
Okay, so as usual,
It's not Leen Salleh, it's Lynch Mob.
So as usual, since we met, you remember, whenever we talk about something, I'll have to go back to its original roots.
Correct.
So about the lynch mob, actually, the same thing. Since we're having the occupation, which is illegal, everything that comes with the occupation, it's illegal and it's a war crime. So about the lynch mob, Israel education system, they feed their children the hate of Palestinians, the hate of Arabs, the hate of everything that is not Jewish. So you will not be surprised if they grow up to be extremist, and if they grow up like having to murder any Arab. So even before the lynch mob that happened, the lynch mob is actually talking about the event that happened last year, but which has been happening as well before. But last year was different because social media was very covering everything, and it was in a very huge number of settlers attacking Palestinian homes, just breaking into the home, trying to threaten people with knives, with guns, with bombs, and with everything. So about the lynch mob, there is two main events that happened in 2015 and 2016, which is burning family and burning a child alive. So the story that about the kid Muhammad Abu Khdair, he's 12 years old. He was killed alive. He was burned alive, actually. At that time, Palestinian NGOs were reporting to Israel police that we're getting threatened by settlers on continuous manner. They're threatening they would kidnap our kids, they would do such and such. But of course, Israel didn't take that into consideration. I mean, you're complaining to an oppressor about having an oppression happening to you because of them. It doesn't make sense, right? So they kidnapped the kid. They just pour gasoline over him. They forced him to drink gasoline, and then they fired him. And there were three of them. They were watching him, and they went back home playing guitar and celebrating what they have achieved. And another family called Dawabshi, which is their story is very well known, a family of 4 members and their grandparent. They were also killed. Their home was set on fire alive. Their infant was killed. His brother is still alive now, and he have witnessed what happened. He still needs surgeries. His mother and father passed away like weeks after the settlers have done the crime, and the grandparents have lost his eyesight only because of grief, not for any other reason. So having this lynch mob is something continuous. Settlers have been doing that. I have some contacts with friends in Palestine. They try to stay home, not to go out. Sometimes they switch off the lights so no one would know they are inside. I mean, it's terrifying.
Just to be safe.
Just to be safe. It's a tragedy. Living a tragedy on continuous basis, actually, what's happening. And chanting death to Arab and this lynch mob that happened last year. Whenever they have a protest, they try to have all the extremists and people who follow like the very religious teachings, which is untrue, of course, but it's like a brainwashing technique. They would just go outside and chant death to Arab, death to Muslims, go out of Palestine. Israel exists, Palestine does not exist. So what would you expect from people who have this mentality and mindset?
Talking about the Arabs, I've been always asking myself, where are the Arab leaders to defend the Palestinians, to defend Palestine? Because I've read the news a few days ago, the Palestinians, they even celebrate Malaysian National Day.
Yeah, in Gaza they did.
Why didn't they celebrate the Arabs' National Day?
Arabs' National Day, is there such a thing?
That's actually right. What is their mentality among the Arab leaders? compared to, because I can see that they really respect Malaysians compared to the Arab leaders.
Yes.
Is there any reason behind that?
It's actually, let's talk about governments. When we're talking about governments and its own people, it's totally different because we believe that people of whatever government, they still have this fire for Palestine. They still support Palestine. But governments, they have their own propaganda. And therefore, they're having this normalization with Israel. Unfortunately, it's all for the benefits. So therefore, of course, we have been demanding this to end, and we've been questioning all the Arab people to go against their government and to ask for the right thing to happen. But things doesn't go that easy, unfortunately. It's all about the corruption we're having. So therefore, Palestinians, they do really respect and love people and the government who show their support to them, because it's not only rare. I mean, you have seen what happened to Ukraine.
Yeah.
And how the European Union have been so supportive of Ukraine. So therefore, Palestinians are looking for the same support from a wider nations, not only 2 to 3 countries. They want a very strong stand with them. So therefore, sometimes Arabs are feeling like very ashamed of what the leaders have been doing. Not mentioning that there are Muslim leaders, and having the holy site in Jerusalem is very important issue that is not taken into consideration.
So I can say that it's not the Arab at large, but it's referring to the Arab leaders.
Leaders, yes.
I see. But the Arab at large, they are supporting the Palestinians.
Yes, in heart, they still support Palestine. And what happened last year have really taught the new generation and build the narrative again about Palestine, even if they were trying to brainwash them and let them forget and sell false information about Palestine. What happened last year, and everyone now is using TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, so they could easily see and read the information and reach out to their Palestinian brothers and sisters and ask them and talk to them. So that was very helpful for some people. Yeah.
Do you watch the Avengers?
No.
Or you don't? You never watch Avengers? Who's your favorite Avenger?
I never watched. I can't remember names.
Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Hawkeye.
I'm not sure which one is my favorite. I'm barely trying to remember the figures, the characters.
This is the first person I know in my life who didn't watch the Avengers.
I've seen it, of course, but I just forget about it.
Never mind about that. Because one of the member of the Avengers, he supported Palestine.
That's famous. That's a famous.
That's famous. Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk, he in his Twitter he mentioned that he urged the Israel to stop the whatever they've been doing upon Palestinians.
Yeah.
But later on, I don't know why he made an open apology upon his tweet before. What is your opinion? Do you think it is genuinely from Mark Ruffalo, or because there's a hidden hand behind him, ask him to seek apology, or maybe that's another reason that we don't know?
Of course, there was like some hand behind him or a pressure that has been put in, and we were so shocked because he's very known to be very supportive to Palestine.
Because a person like Gigi Hadid, Bella Hadid, it is not surprised because they have the origin from Palestine.
Yes.
But Mark Ruffalo, he's a totally Hollywood actor who has nothing to do with Palestine. So, yeah, you may continue your answer.
So true. Yeah, it makes sense, as you mentioned. As Palestinian, we're not surprised if it's your own case, so you don't have to support your own case.
Correct.
But as Mark Ruffalo and other Hollywood actors who are actually very elite and they have the mega number of followers, we were shocked, like, why did he make this apology? Because he is very known to be supportive for Palestinian cause on social media, even during Gaza war, for example,
Correct.
in 2014.
For quite some
2014.
time.
So maybe this apology happened because he was accused by being anti-Semitic, unfortunately, which is very, it's false reason. It doesn't make sense of being anti-Semitic. And I think that's the main reason. But at the same time, he's still followed by another tweet, I believe, talking about the numbers of people died and injured in Gaza. But the only thing he apologized for, it's only about the genocide. He just wanted to have peace for everyone, not only for Palestinians.
But still, he is supporting Palestine.
Yes.
Long live the Hulk.
Long. Yeah, you were worried about that. Is it your favorite Avenger?
I reserve my comment.
Okay.
All right. Now let's go
No
into
worries.
let's go into a more serious topic to discuss, which is in Article 26 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. It mentioned that all persons are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to the equal protection of the law. In this respect, the law shall prohibit any discrimination and guarantee to all persons equal and effective protection against discrimination on any ground such as race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth or other status. According to this article, as Palestinian, can you relate this article to what happened in your country right now?
I totally can relate. Even before 1948.
Even before 1948?
Yes, Palestinians were threatened that there would be a country of occupation, a state of Israel. And while we are remembering our catastrophe, the day where the month that we were forced out to leave our country, Israeli is celebrating the day of establishing Israel. So actually having this is very sensitive because Palestinian, they're barely having the basic human rights. Not only to mention the Palestinians living in Palestine, in West Bank, Gaza, or in the occupied territories, and also in the historical land. Also Palestinian overseas who are refugees. We're having refugees in Lebanon, in Iraq, in Jordan, in Egypt, in Syria, and nowadays, since these countries are facing their own hardship and wars happening there, so Palestinians have been displaced again and again and again, which leading for more difficulties for them. So having this law and not being applied to Palestinians, not having the right that any human being should have, at least the right to live, is very difficult and very irritating, because we're mainly suffering of the right to live. We're not asking for the right to education and this and that. The existence of Palestinians sometimes is a threat to Israelis, and they don't want Palestinians to exist at all. Yes.
And is there any, because some people say that sometimes there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So by the existence of social media, and we can see the world nowadays, there are increasingly many countries starting to support Palestine. So do you think there's a light at the end of the tunnel for the Palestinians as regard to their digital rights?
In regard to the digital rights, I believe it just needs consistency. We need to continue, keep up with what we are doing and find new ways to keep talking about Palestine, but at the same time not being censored by any platform, which is a huge struggle and a challenge, because sometimes they're following certain accounts by itself, not only having the algorithm following the posts and stories in order to delete it or block it. So I believe, yes, there would be some hope. But in order to do that, we need to have our own platforms sometimes to talk about it. We need to create our own media, not only counting on their media. But let's be realistic. The platforms, it's global now, and millions of people are using this. So, of course, we need to use it as well.
And you are using also under the platform of Friend of Palestine?
Friends of Palestine. It's an Instagram page currently, but it's an initiative. Actually, we're having also some ground, let's say, works.
Do you guys ever been blocked before? Or should I say, how many times you've been blocked?
Many times.
Many times.
We were not able to get the blue tag. We were not able to share the reels on Instagram. Many of the videos were deleted. We have been warned different times. But maybe because in Malaysia and speaking in other language, not only in English or Arabic, we're also posting in Malay. So it has been less harm than others. And it's also, if you search for Friends of Palestine, you cannot find it sometimes.
You're correct.
And you cannot view the story.
I've faced that problem before.
You cannot view the story. It will be blocked directly.
You were
so
saying
no engagement.
No
There is no
engagement.
reach, no engagement with the followers anymore.
And that's why I realized that Friends of Palestine, they are engaging with many public figures to help them reaching their message to a wider audience, is it?
Yes, it's one of the things that techniques that we should always follow. You need to find a way in order to refresh the page and to have this engagement with your followers again, because they're waiting for you. But sometimes people think we're not posting, but we are posting. They just don't have the notification.
Been restricted.
Yes.
So
it's
guys,
restricted.
follow Friend of Palestine, right?
Yes.
Talking about Malaysian once again, because there are people who are asking, how do you come to Malaysia? I mean, yeah, you study in Malaysia. What about your family? Are there any story that we don't know that you can share?
Yes.
Definitely.
Most of the people think I came here to study and to continue my bachelor, but actually I came here due to the war crimes in Syria. So that's the reason we flee to Malaysia. Unplanned.
Way back in what year?
Unplanned. 2012.
2012. 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
MashaAllah.
Specifically, it's October 2012.
MashaAllah.
So I had to continue my high school education, and therefore I got the chance. I was very privileged to continue my higher education as well.
And what do you think about Malaysia? Because you've been in Syria and you have your origin in Palestine, so you have your own turbulence over there. And when you come to this country and you see by your own self, witnessing how does this country work as a democratic country, what is your opinion?
I just always pray that Malaysia will stay safe, and I wish everyone would do the same, because I got this stability here in Malaysia. Okay, being a refugee is a struggle itself, but when you see how the country would function and how the people were nourished and will live a happy, peaceful life if they're having everything going smoothly and in the right way, it's very different. So coming here to Malaysia, I got this idea that Malaysia is already my second home.
MashaAllah.
When I was in Syria, Syria is my second home and Palestine is my first home. Now I lost both of them. I lost both these countries, and now I have Malaysia there. So whenever I go, anytime, I will still have this connection with Malaysia.
You've been in Turkey before, right? For
Yeah,
a
one
project.
time, yes.
So how does it feel to be there comparing to be here?
When I was in Turkey, I was craving for nasi lemak.
MashaAllah.
Not only having all the Turkish food, but seriously, I was craving for nasi
Still
lemak.
nasi lemak.
And I had it there. It was very good, like having the cold weather, but having nasi lemak, it's totally different experience. And I still miss Malaysia.
MashaAllah.
Riding in the highway in Malaysia, listening to music in the car, having the rain every single day. It's something amazing.
MashaAllah. So we come back to the digital rights of the Palestinians. For those Malaysians who are watching, what do you expect we Malaysia to do to help? Because I believe way back in 2020 or 2021, regarding the Sheikh Al-Jarrah issue, Malaysian established a hashtag which is called Israel Koyak.
Yeah.
And there was a response among the Israelis. So what's your opinion about that? Other than that, what more that we can do to help the Palestinians?
Actually, I was really happy when I
Really?
saw, when I saw the response, and it was very creative. There were two singers or two TikTokers, content creator, where they were singing Israel Koyak and then making the rap words, lyrics. It was very good, seriously. So having this, and then how the Israeli were following.
Yeah.
I was searching on Facebook, like there's a page speaking Malay but advocating for Israel.
Oh,
So I was
really?
like, Malaysians do not know this page as much as they support Palestine. They're busy enough not to look for such things. So how I would like to advise Malaysians what to do for in order to continue the support is always keep up the momentum. Malaysians love Palestine, but I believe they need to have maybe more knowledge, more awareness about the real issues in Palestine. So in order to know what to speak about, sharing is important. Being updated is important. Using the hashtags is very important. Following the people in Palestine to support them, so they would keep sharing and support their pages is a very crucial issue. But as well as having more initiatives in Malaysia, talking about Palestine education, educating the kids, the children about Palestine, it would be really helpful as well.
MashaAllah.
I mean, just continue. Malaysia is doing great.
Do you think Malaysians supporting Palestine all the time or only during certain season?
No, I believe they always support Palestine. When I was in university, many activities were happening for Palestine. I participated in different events, plays, theaters, flash mob were organized by different NGO, even student clubs were doing this. But let's talk about the social media. Yes.
Yeah.
This huge support, it only happens in certain occasions. So therefore, I always ask the people who have influence on others, the media agencies, the media outlets, the journalists, the celebrities, to keep sharing about Palestine from time to time in order to remind others, since they have the responsibility, they have the platform, so people will not forget. And the more we have more systematic and sustainable means to support, it would be more helpful.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Last but not least, because this is not regarding digital rights, but do you have any experience facing war in Syria before?
No.
No. Or any of your relatives?
Relatives, yes, they have witnessed it all, everything. But personally, I've just been there during the first 2 years. So mainly the main events were not taking place in Damascus, where I was living. But it's only like a week before leaving Syria where things started to get more dangerous. So I do remember that within one night, less than 24 hours, the roadside, the shops, everything was totally a mess, destroyed. That's the last memory of me leaving the area I used to live in Yarmouk camp. It's a
Yarmouk.
Palestinian camp. So I just remember the street was empty. It's very scary. It looks like it's a horror movie. Seriously, it's a horror movie. That's the last thing I remember about my area, and then having all the pictures of my home being bombed and destroyed, unfortunately. And during the school exams, we also had some explosions happening.
During school exam?
Nearby, it's not
My
nearby the
God.
school, but it's around the city. So
We here in Malaysia, we are afraid of the exam. But you guys over there, you have exam, and during exam you have bombs.
you have bombs. So suddenly the exam will stop. As a
Oh my
student, you don't know, should I feel happy that I don't have to have the exam, or should I be afraid I cannot go back
It's
home?
confusing.
Yes. So it was that's the worst experience, but it's nothing comparing to what other people have witnessed and lived through. Actually, it's really nothing. At least we didn't lose family members as much as others did. If we lost homes, we lost memories, but we didn't lose family members.
I know you love Malaysia. I know you love nasi lemak. And maybe one day you'll be getting married with a Malaysian. I don't know. But do you have
That's
anything?
Amin every time since I met him. Having the same.
But this is a different question. Do you have any vision one day you will go back to Syria or Palestine to rebuild your nation?
I wish that. I really wish I would witness that day where I can go back to my countries and help in doing so. Meanwhile, while staying in Malaysia, I'm trying my best to have this, since we're having the safety, the security, the platforms, the supportive community and people that really care about our causes and cases, to support my country from wherever I am. So let's say I would stay in Malaysia for the coming 10 years. I would keep sharing, educating about Palestine and about Syria. So it doesn't necessarily mean that I would be going back anytime soon. But what matters is keep doing whatever you want to do for your country, whether you're there or here.
Inshallah.
Yeah, and I wish someday I can visit Palestine. I'm not allowed to go there. So hopefully one day I would be going there soon.
One day, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Leen Salleh, thank you very much for being in AP Podcast. Inshallah, may your dream come true. And Malaysia will always supporting Palestine.
Amin. Thank you so much, Amin. Thank you so
Assalamu alaikum.
much. Walaikum
Let's
assalam.
go for nasi lemak.
Okay. Okay.